Court calls case of the people versus Michael Haywood. All right, Mr. Haywood, can you state your name, please?
Michael Haywood.
All right. What are we doing?
Good morning, Your Honor. I filed a motion to withdraw due to a direct conflict of interest regarding a witness or potential witness in this case that I identified after meeting with Mr. Haywood. As a result, I am unable to continue to represent Mr. Haywood. I would ask the court to permit me to withdraw.
Okay, I noticed in the motion that I don't have the witness identified or the person identified.
Yes, Your Honor. Either we can approach or I can try and describe this on the record very carefully.
Well, however you wish to do it. I mean, I need it says there's a conflict, I need to know, much like with the other motions, who the conflict is with.
Your Honor, if I identify the conflict who is not listed in the police report, he could be charged with crimes and I've previously represented him. So I'm unable to provide additional information, which would result in discovery to the prosecutor.
The motion's denied. I mean, I can't do it this way, Miss Julian. I mean, I have to have some indication as to what the conflict is.
Nigga, she just told your stupid ass.
No, Mr. Haywood.
No, you didn't. Bond revoked. We're done.
My guess would be he didn't want to leave jail, or he has severe impulse control disorder. I found that on what was the name of that channel? Old Squishies something or other. The name of the channel will indicate that there's some old guy that just watches courtroom videos all day. I'll put the link in the description if you want to see the whole thing. That judge actually, Judge Cedric something or other, he's actually an entertaining judge. I'll give him credit for that. But on the flip side of thing, there's some good news to be shared. I found Amber! Yay! Not that I found Amber, but my dear esteemed friends and colleagues knew that since her previous channel had been, I don't know, self-removed. I'm not sure if she did it. I'm pretty sure she did do it herself, but I didn't know if she was still active in the YouTube sphere, and apparently she is. So somebody sent me a screenshot of her channel. I'm not even sure if she wants people to know, like from the old days, that she's back. But in any event, glad you're back, Amber. Welcome back. Yay! Makes me so happy. I just have to sing about it. It's my new thing. Anyway, since the last time I was here, I had to do my routine visit to the Department of Immigration. I think it's called the Bureau of Immigration here, which is in the largest city in northern Mindanao, which is called Cagayan de Oro. I'd already been there once before. That was when I actually landed on the island, so from what I saw, it was, nice. This time, Berna and I had to take a bus. The first time when we got here, we took a cab from where the ship docked to our home here in Malaybalay. Anywho, since I've been in Malaybalay in Bukidnon province, I have not had any negative experiences, and that continues to this very day. However, that can't be said about my trip to the major city, Cagayan de Oro, which is outside of Bukidnon. In any event, it was I had been told it was only going to be like an hour-long bus ride, which my anxiety can pretty much handle. But it turned out to be more like 2 hours plus, um, give or take. So everything was planned out because that's what I do. And we got there, we found a taxi, took us to where we were supposed to go. So the Bureau of Immigration, a number of like government type offices are connected in their shopping mall. But it's more like, I guess you could say it was more like an annex part of the building because there were no stores around there. But when we first get in there, we had the right address and you're supposed to go to the second floor. We do that, but all we see are stores. And I think Berna started getting nervous, like maybe she had the wrong information because she got so focused on finding the building that she didn't hear a single word I said. We passed a Apple store, and I'm like, "Hey, there's an Apple store." She never heard me. We passed an arcade, and I was saying, "Hey, there's an arcade." Didn't hear a single thing I said. So we asked the security guards that were in front of whatever store in particular, and she asked them in, Bisayan, and they would point and do whatever. We still couldn't find it. So we actually did start wondering, like, hey, is this the right place? So I spot 3 white foreigners down on the first floor. So take the escalator down there because I was pretty sure they were American, but they were definitely white. So I knew they would know something about where the immigration office is. And the first guy I approached, I think he was more weirded out that he was talking to a Black American in the Philippines more than anything else. I mean, I guess it would be more common if I was near a military base, like if I was in Pampanga, Angeles, which is up in the northern region of the Philippines. That's where the United States are actually about to build new military bases after they closed down the previous ones built back in 1992. So anyhow, I start talking with one of the other guys, and he hadn't been there since 2020. And so he was telling me where he remembered the immigration office being. So just so you understand, Americans, and there's another number of other countries, they can come to the Philippines and you can stay without a visa up to 59 days. So if you're going to visit here for like, a month, 6 weeks, anything under 59 days, you don't need a visa. But I have to get visa extensions because I've been here for over a year. So that being the case, I so he was telling me where it was, and I was letting him know, like, based on the information we had, there was another office somewhere in the mall. So he's, did you ask anyone? So we asked 3 different people, and we got 3 different answers. And he said something that I kind of sensed, but I couldn't articulate. And he nodded his head when I said we got 3 different answers. He said Filipinos cannot know something. Basically, they won't admit that they don't know an answer to something. And so for them to save face, they'll say something that can be completely wrong. And that has been my experience in certain situations since I've been here. So we did eventually find it, and you had to walk around this corridor. It was almost like a skyline kind of thing. Like, if you've ever been in one of those malls that has that like bridge overpass kind of thing that's made of glass, it was kind of like that. So as we're approaching the building, we saw a couple. I guess it was husband and woman. The woman was Filipino. The man that she was with was a foreigner. I'm not sure Australia, England, America. I didn't bother to ask. But she looked at me and said, "Good luck," and smiled. And so I just thought, she thinks me and Berner are here to get a marriage visa. That's funny. And so we get there, and the security guard meets us at the front. And he actually went over our documentation to make sure we had everything. And he had to make a copy of something. So when we go inside, that was when it got weird. So, unlike most of the Philippines and Mindanao, the southernmost region of the Philippines, there is a significant Muslim Islamic population. Even where I live at in Malaybalay, there's a Muslim population here. And so far, my experience in Malaybalay, Muslim, Christian, everybody's just fine. There's no issues with anyone. Even in the subdivision I live in, there's a Muslim population. But I guess when, you have a family and you work for a living, you don't have time to be bitter or angry or hostile. Anywho, we go inside. I didn't notice it at first. Berna noticed it, that people were looking at me, but almost with resentment and hostility. I mean, being black in America, you kind of sometimes just let that roll right off your back. So we, submit the paperwork, and then this woman comes up, I guess about a minute or so later, and she just keeps repeating the same question. And it was almost like this insanity thing where, you're expecting a different result, but it's the same question. So a little backstory. When I was in Biliran province, when I was with Jane the Whore, the closest office was in a city south of the province called Tacloban City. Give you better context, those that can remember as far back as Imelda Marcos, Tacloban is the place that she was born and grew up. So you would have to take a 4-hour bus ride to Tacloban City if you lived in Biliran to go to immigration. And it was basically like a 4-hour bus ride to be in there for about, at the most, 15 minutes. You'd go in, you submit your paperwork, they'd look it over, show you how much you have to pay. They show you, you agree. They print up your paperwork, you pay, you get a receipt and a copy of your documentation. In and out. Never had a problem in Tacloban City. Now, Cagayan de Oro, or as it's commonly called here, CDO, is much larger than Tacloban City. And I mistakenly thought that as efficient as Tacloban City was with immigration, CDO would be even more efficient. But it wasn't. So, now there's about maybe 10, 15 tops immigration offices within the Philippines. That shouldn't be a lot for somebody that works for the Department of Immigration to know and remember. And for some reason, this is where I think I expect too much from people. But in my opinion, the reality is I'm expecting you to have some core competencies, some fundamental common sense in what you're doing. So the woman comes out with my paperwork, and then she says, "You lived in Tacloban." So I said, "No, I didn't live in Tacloban. I lived in Biliran province." So she stares at me. And I mean, she stares at me. It's like her brain had to reset or refresh the page or something. And so she says it again. "You lived in Tacloban." And I repeated my question. "No, madam, I lived in Biliran province." So she stares at me again. So then she turns to Bernadetta and then starts speaking to Berna and Basayan. And then Berna is explaining to her, no, he lived in Biliran province. Tacloban City was the closest immigration office that we could go to. And my thought is, if I tell you I lived in Biliran province, I guess for me, it's different. I just couldn't be that ignorant to my own country. And the fact that she clearly had no idea outside of, I guess, Manila and Cebu, which are two major cities, where anything else in her own country was. But if you look at a map and you see Tacloban, you would see Biliran province. It used to be part of, well, Tacloban is part of the Leyte province. Biliran became its own independent province 30 years ago, 31 years ago now. I'm sure she doesn't even know that. So she seemed to be hostile towards me because she didn't understand what I was saying, but not because I was being difficult, but because she just couldn't comprehend what I was saying. And one thing I do notice about Filipinos, they have massive egos. And, usually when you have an enormous ego, it's to hide the fact that you have very little to be proud of. And you tend to flex more when you have ego than if you have pride. And as she's talking to Berna, she actually kind of turned her back towards me. And then she starts asking Berna a lot of questions. And so finally I said, can you also talk to me, please? And her response was, it was very rude. Wait a while. And I gave her the benefit of the doubt that she didn't understand what she said was rude. She could have said one moment or, excuse me. It's strange. Like, they have college classes teaching people how to do customer service here, where that might be an 8-hour session at any place in America if somebody turns out to be rude in the customer service oriented job. I thought the woman was just rude, period, but Berna strongly feels that they were treating me the way they were because I was Black and American. Because we could hear her to another woman in there talking to another foreigner who was white, and they were very nice to him. They explained everything to him. Unfortunately for me, the person I had, and this was something that I found interesting. I identified that they were Muslim because the women had the head wrap on, the head cover, but this woman's kept falling off. It wasn't, pinned to her hair or tied in any real, it just kept falling off, which also made me think, well, maybe she's doing this to protect her hair from the sun. It didn't come off to me as any authenticity. But like I said, whatever. So anywho, she leaves out and then she comes back and then she says, how long do you intend to be here? I don't know. Why? And so she says, well, you have a tourist visa. So because I have tourist status. It was almost like my answers were going to sound like I was being facetious, but I wasn't trying to be. I'm answering the questions that she's asking me. And then she leaves out and then she comes back again and she says, do you have children? I'm thinking, why does this matter? I wanted to say that, but one thing I learned from reading message boards about expats living in the Philippines is that if you make them angry, they'll purposely go out of their way to inconvenience you if you hurt their feelings. So I told her, yeah, I have children like that. I just didn't understand it. So then she starts talking to Berna. And then Berna explained to her that she was my personal assistant. So then the woman wants to know why. So Berna's explaining, well, there's a language barrier. He's here. He has post-traumatic stress disorder. And then she asked to see Berna's identification. And what is this? It was really intrusive. And I'm thinking, I've been to immigration in Manila. I've been to immigration in Tacloban. Went through none of this. None. like I said, I was okay with the fact that it took a 4-hour bus ride to stay in the immigration office for 15 minutes. I was like, this is much better than taking a 15-minute bus ride and having to sit in here for 4 hours. Like, it just seemed better to me. But now it's like, what is going on? And so then they were complaining because Tacloban, for all the documentation, always made a copy for me. And she's, well, why did they do this? And they shouldn't have done that. And it's like, you didn't even know where this place was. So maybe they do it differently there than they do here. So she goes back again. Then the woman calls me up and tells me how much it's going to be. It was actually a lot less than I expected. So I'm like, okay, that's fine. I pay the money. So I'm sitting, and then the woman comes back out again, and I can see in her hand, she's holding my documentation, and I see it's been stamped approved, and she's still like asking stupid questions. And then one of the questions she said, at this point, I just was like, you know what? I'm going to take the high road. I'm going to treat her with kindness. I'm going to treat her with understanding. I'm going to be nice. That's all I was. And so then she's telling me, well, you know, you can only be on a tourist visa for 3 years. And I said, thank you, ma'am. I am aware of that. You know, I haven't figured out my next steps yet. And I'm here to build a church and a school. And so then she says, why? I'm like, are you serious? Like, who are you? Anywho, so she says, well, you might want to, you know, think about getting a different type of visa if you're going to be here for an extended period of time. Now, I already know the different types of visas I'm eligible for, and I'm just not getting it yet because I'm not ready. And that's just being honest. I'm not ready to do it yet. Maybe next year, but not this year. I've only been here for a year, and I'm still kind of, you know, finding my way. So as long as I'm finding my way, I'm not going to invest in something where I might have, you know, something happens and I'm not going to stay. Just leave it at that. So I asked this woman, well, what other types of visas are available to me? Mind you, she works in the Department of Immigration. She's coming off like she's the judge and the queen of the court, asking questions that have nothing to do with my application because I'm getting an extension, which basically means all I'm doing is making sure my information is updated and I pay the fee for processing. So I asked her, what other types of visas are there? Her answer, well, I mean, she's really thinking hard now. She really didn't know. And then she's just rattling off these numbers with letters attached to them. And it was kind of like, you've just been exposed for being a moron. So then, of course, she says, there's a special retirement visa. And I said, the SRRV. She's like, yes, you know it. I'm like, yes. Like, unlike you, I try to educate myself on different things. I didn't say that. But that's kind of how I felt. I mean, she was annoying. So then she leaves out and then she comes back again. And she's just asking questions at this point. She finally, I think, kind of mellowed. Because then after she was asked, like, after she came back and was telling me what I already knew, then she would ask a question and say, if you don't mind me asking, which initially she was just grilling me. And I was telling her how, like, Bukidnon and Malabalai and Berna chimed in. Yeah, Malabalai is so nice, and there's no discrimination against people that we've experienced in Malabalai. I'm like, ooh, Berna, take a shot at her. Mind you, this woman's head wrap must have fell off another 5 or 6 times. I'm not even exaggerating. It just got really stupid at this point. And I just want to get my paperwork and get out. So, you know, the reality is I'm going to have to see her again at some point. So you might as well be nice to her now instead of calling her out on her BS. And then the next time you come in, she makes you wait for like 8 hours or something. which it's an abuse of power, but I'm not in my America anymore. So, when in Rome, there was the Romans. So then we leave out and we want to go to McDonald's. And we go to McDonald's, but the setup was so strange. There was no menu to order from. And it was like it was almost like you had to do everything online. Oh, buddies are here. Hello, Violet Witch. Hey, I like that icon. Hello, Irish Jazz. I like yours too. And Jazz, I was just telling them the story about immigration that I talked to you about yesterday. Yeah, beautiful twin. So the McDonald's we were going to eat because I actually want to see what a Filipino Big Mac looks like, but the way it was structured, you couldn't really tell. So I just left it alone, and then we just came back to the good old U.S. No, I'm sorry, we came back home to Bukidnon. But there is a McDonald's in Bukidnon. It's just south of us, about an hour away. It didn't. I don't know. How can I put it? Berna seemed really disturbed by what happened, the experience there. Where for me, I don't say I the treatment, but it's not something I've never experienced before. But being around me and having to go everywhere I go, Berna's witnessing she didn't know existed in her own country. I'm talking about as far as like racism and discrimination. I don't think she realized it was as rampant as it was, but I mean, here it is. Hello, Jazz dear.
Hello, I'm late.
Yeah. So you got a 15-minute detention after school.
What?
You have to stay after school 15 minutes. You're late.
Oh, I was used to staying after school. I was in the principal's office, so it's all right. It's no norm for me.
We didn't have principal's office. Well, we had to go to the principal's office in elementary school, and that was probably the only time it ever scared me. But when I got to like junior high and high school, you can make threats all you want. I'll just leave. You're gonna have to go to the principal's office. Yeah, okay. They write you the pass to go to the principal's office, so just go home.
I was used to the principal's office, so it's all right.
Well, there was nobody at my house. I just went home.
Oh.
You don't scare me none. I'll just take this pass and rip it to shreds.
Yeah.
Oh, who's this? Hello, Violet.
Oh, that's it.
Hello, brother. Hello, wifey.
Oh, shut up, wifey.
Oh, thanks for giving me the screenshot for Amber.
Yeah.
By the way, I was listening to it this morning here. It's already to Wednesday morning here. It is, it's 7:35 Wednesday morning, August 16th here. So
Yeah, you're a day ahead of us.
Yeah, but it's still as crappy as yesterday. So, hey, what could I say? It was good that I saw that. I was listening to her live stream. I couldn't tell if she was upset or if she was just calling people. It was kind of hard to explain, to be totally honest. I was trying to get a feel for like the new channel.
I told you. We don't know. We don't know what it is yet.
Yeah, I couldn't tell. And then like I don't know if you watched the one you sent me the link to, but like it's just the picture is of like part of a
TV.
green screen.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was. Yeah, I really love Amber. Like she was a great friend to me when I first came to the Philippines. And unlike a lot of people, she defended me, openly.
Yeah.
So
yeah. We don't have no complaints of Amber. We have no complaints of her. So it's like we don't know.
We don't. I don't
No
mess with
complaint.
Amber. You don't ever mess with Amber.
Mm-mm, mm-mm,
No,
mm-mm.
I mean, but she doesn't really give you a reason to. She doesn't really look to start drama. I mean, I
Uh-uh.
remember, I
But
forgot who
she will call
connected
you
me.
out if she needs to.
Yeah,
Well, she
yeah,
should. That's how I
Yeah.
yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah,
I forgot who
yeah.
connected me to her, but when I first started talking to her, she had an issue with John Yates. And she kept
Everybody
sending
has an
me
issue with John.
what she was trying to bring me up to speed, and she like deluged me with all of these links and videos, and where I had to like ask her to stop. Like I actually felt overwhelmed. And given my, track record with people and looking for me to join the righteous cause of justice, I thought she was one of those crusaders at first.
Uh-uh.
And so I was like, I need to stay away from her. But out of nowhere, we just had this off YouTube conversation that lasted for like 2.5 hours. Then I felt like I got to know her as a person, and we actually had a number of things in common. So then it was like, oh, okay, she's normal. Because after that whole thing with who was it, Jackie Sunshine and Charlotte and Lindsay McNeil. And
Yeah, Lindsay McNeil is a surfboard.
See, I called her a channel gypsy.
Well, that too, but now she's only on Muzz and she really don't go anywhere.
Well, she couldn't really go anywhere anyway. Then she had like that bone deficiency. Like every time she would when I tried to partner with her, because she kept saying let's partner and like, I'll co-host your channel. I thought, okay, we'll see where this goes. I was telling Amber about this yesterday, but she was always laying down.
Uh-huh.
And it was like, are you ill? Like you're always laying down and you're like propped with pillows, and then you keep a cigarette in your mouth. And I would have been better. And I'm not trying to be rude or anything. It would have been better if she just used like a picture as opposed to
Right,
like,
yeah.
showing her actual self. Because I remember at one time where we were doing a whole I forget. Violet, do you remember who it was that was suing KJ? Not the woman with the makeup line, but the reality TV guy.
No, I don't.
Well, you know who I'm talking about?
Jeffree Star. Jeffree Star.
No, not Jeffree
No.
Star.
No.
Tati was the one that sued her, and then they settled. Katie Joy, she sued Katie Joy.
But see, none of them really won either.
Well, no, I just said they settled. Like it wasn't a
Yeah.
thing like but there was another guy. He had his own TV show. It was like a reality show, and he used to wear like expensive jewelry and stuff. And then he had the wife. Oh, I can't remember his name because I did a couple of videos about that. But anyway, Lindsay was trying. She said she was going to bring all of her people to join my channel. Which okay, a view is a view, no problem. But then she started like hyping herself and exaggerating like her importance, because then she's telling me she had to show some guy her boobs to get him to.
They ain't got any boobs.
Oh God, here we go about the boobs.
Listen, I'm telling you what she said.
God,
I'm just telling you what she told me. Whether or not she had the merchandise to display, it is. I got no control over that. I'm just telling you what she told me. Now, to be fair, I think when she was like working with me and co-hosting with me, I think my subscriber count then went up like maybe 10 or 15 people. That much. It's possible that happened. I'm not gonna I noticed a significant. It was noticeable. I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
But I think it was noticeable because I never had a huge following anywhere.
Uh,
So if 5 people would have joined, I would have noticed it. But the thing that I remember,
Speak up. I can't hear you.
you can't hear me.
she
No.
pressing buttons.
I'm not pressing no buttons, sister. No, I'm not touching buttons.
Yes, you
I can
are.
look- I'm not touching no buttons.
Well, then it's your phone.
I have it turned all the way up, love. All the way.
Violet, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I can
Violet?
hear you, but I can hardly hear. It's staticky. I don't know
That's
how
your
to-
phone. Hit
I
the
can't
reset.
touch it.
Refresh your
Look,
page.
Langer. I'm not
Langer,
touching no,
langer.
I'm fucking touching no buttons. I don't know how to fix it.
Well, wait. Maybe you're having a windstorm. You're out in Arizona, right?
Don't tell my location. Don't tell my location. I'll have a stalker and a peeper.
It's a pretty big state. I mean, come on. You know.
Yeah, I got cameras in her house.
Hey, are you catching some of that Hawaii smoke fire?
The what?
The fire from Hawaii. You catching any of that smoke?
No.
Real Entertainment News always said you wanted that smoke. So.
Oh, he just fuck off. Don't start no shit, CC. Oh, shit. Start
see,
no
maybe
shit.
Wait, no, I was
Don't
talking
start
about.
no shit, Langer.
Okay,
Start no shit.
okay. Tell us about what Lindsay said.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Shut up,
So-
sister.
She was supposed to get the information because Emily D. Baker did a live
Oh,
stream
I heard this.
about.
Yeah, I know, and she did 3 pages, and she
No. 5 pages of notes.
5.
5 pages of notes. And yeah, see, I don't know. Lindsay confuses me when she says that she first got married at the age of 15. Now, and I'm genuinely curious. Why would your folks allow you to get married at the age of 15? This is not 1854 Arkansas. It's not West Virginia. It's not Eastern Kentucky. It's like you went from Philadelphia, a major city, where if you had done that, people would have liked what's going on here. And then you went to Florida, Hollywood, Florida. That's not a small place. Like, why would you? See, only thing I can guess is that her parents wanted to marry her off to be done with her. And that's a terrible thing to think. But that's the only thing that would make sense. I would not allow my daughter at 15 to get married. If my daughter was 20, I would question, why are you trying to get married at the age of 20? Like, she's 15. Now, again, this is just her story, so I could be wrong. I mean, maybe she, didn't get the age right. I don't know. But then she got mad because I called her out on her bragging about how much research she did on Emily D. Baker's live stream, and then came on the live stream and had nothing to say.
I know. She
And then
bitched
after
at me. She bitched at me about it. I'm like, I said, first of all, you need to quit. Don't bitch at me about, because I couldn't understand her either.
Well, the other thing was she was bad-mouthing. After she left my channel and was bad-mouthing me, she forgot that she had bad-mouthed other people to me. No, most notably was Amzi, who I had never heard of. And it was like, when I heard this, she was talking about whoever was in Amzi's regular viewers or whatever. She had something negative to say about all of those guys. And it was kind of, I'm listening, but I don't have an opinion to offer because I don't know these people.
Right.
Like, I don't know them. The people she was talking about, I never even heard of. And then she left my channel. And I think after that was when I started live streaming with Jesse, who then had a complete psychotic break. And then Lindsay joined up with Jesse. And then they were going after Real Entertainment. Like that whole time period was just, it's funny now, but then I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, you guys were there, so I guess you can relate to what I'm saying, but
Oh yeah, I can.
it wasn't a good time. I just couldn't understand it. Like, I can tell you the reason I had an issue with everybody. It started when Teresa said the N-word on Yaya's channel, and everybody thought I was supposed to be in an uproar about it. But I heard exactly the context of how it was said. I didn't agree with it, but I didn't take it personal. And what I was trying to explain was that it wasn't my channel. I can't tell somebody else how to operate their channel. It caught everybody off guard. When Teresa later on after that came onto my channel, I was explaining to her why it was not a good thing to do. And was just explaining like she didn't know the history. And a lot of people don't. What I admired was that she wasn't defending what she did. She was listening to me explain to her why it was a mistake. And then T-Spiracy jumps on the channel and then starts, going after Teresa, which I'm like, you're not going to do that on my channel. Like, don't do that. I don't go disrespecting anybody else on their channel. Don't come on here disrespecting somebody on mine.
Yeah.
And then T-Spiracy gets upset and then goes back to Yaya's channel and then starts trashing me. And it mentions how I was going after somebody on her channel, but the reality was, and she actually knew it to be true, Jesse, who was her mod, was disrespecting me in chat. And I called her out for it because I joined the panel and then Jesse joined the panel just to start trouble. All of that drama. Yeah, it just didn't make any sense. But hey, guys, check this out. Look what I found. Hold on.
There's a new store in town.
Moms and dads, are you looking for a bicycle, tricycle, football?
Looking for a model kit, chess set, doll? Honey for game time, playtime, fun time.
Well, stop your looking and start to shopping at the store that has them all. The world's biggest toy stores, Toys R Us. The biggest selection, Toys R Us.
New store in town. Toys R Us.
Oh my God, that's old. That's old. That's fucking old.
Yeah, you guys want to hear something funny? There's an actual Toys R Us toy store here in the Philippines.
Are you kidding?
Not kidding.
Wow.
I saw it Friday.
That is so old.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it
think
is.
that was from 1978. I think that commercial was. No, 1982. I'm sorry.
Wow. Wow. They don't even have shit like that anymore.
No.
No, I heard Jessie actually, she went off the deep end.
And we talked
Oh.
about that last night, and Chris thought she was locked up.
She was teetering when she still had her channel because then she became obsessed with not Frank Zappa. What's his name? Steve McRae.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was, and then she was masturbating in the shower
I saw that.
on a YouTube live, and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, she went kind of nutso. I mean, seriously went nutso. And I don't know. I remember for me, the end of the relationship happened when I was telling a story and she kept texting glitch. And it was distracting me.
Yeah, I know that was upsetting me too.
And I kept saying, like, stop. Like, if you got a glitch, like, either just like don't text. And then she's accused me of threatening her. And then I'm like, when did I threaten you? And she sent me a screenshot that basically said, hey, hope you're doing okay. And I'm not kidding when I say like that was the screenshot she sent me a text of. Then she accused Real Entertainment News of threatening her life. Like, yeah, she I don't know. She might have been smoking ketamine or something. I don't know if that was actual medicinal marijuana. It wasn't. And then
Well,
like,
I know her parents took her computer away, and all she had was her phone for a while.
wasn't she like pushing 30?
I don't know.
She was living with her parents.
Yeah, I remember that because I think they left her at their summer home and went back to like I think the summer home was in Long Island, and I think they went back to, I want to say, upstate New York or something, and they left her there. And here's the sad part about that: she had talent.
She did. She's a good comic. She really was.
Yes, she
Yeah.
was funny.
Yeah, very
Her-
funny.
Her KJ shorts, I mean, her channel
were.
for those
She had
KJ
videos.
shorts ballooned.
Yeah.
I mean, it just grew. But I just see, I don't know. I guess because I'm honest about my mental health, I'm not going to have that issue. Like, I don't have a problem telling people that I have mental illness.
Yeah, yeah,
And it's because as long as I acknowledge it, I can manage it and control it. If I'm in denial of it, how can I control it?
right,
Right.
right.
And
Right.
you can't. It's not possible. One
Right.
of the things that me and Amber used to talk about, because I used to tell her about, like, because she has anxiety issues.
Yeah, I do. I do.
And-
I have PTSD and I take meds. I have
Yeah.
depression, take meds for it all. So I don't have a
You
problem
know
with it.
what's funny, Jazz? When I told you about my anxiety attack when I was at the Los Angeles airport,
Yeah.
and
I
I
have
honestly
in
thought
London.
that was a one of a kind thing, and then you told me the same thing happened to you in London, and I was
Yeah.
like, wow.
Yeah.
See, that's a comforting feeling. Not that somebody suffered like you, but that somebody can understand
Yeah.
Yeah.
exactly what it was in that moment where, some people will just pretend they understand, which, oh my God, let me tell you guys something. Because I was just about to mention the Philippines again. I have never seen a group of people in my life that are so afraid to look bad. It's like if there was a nation of origin for ego, it would be here. Nobody wants to look bad here. So they like to project off on other people when they make mistakes.
Oh shit.
It's like, well, no, it's your fault because of X, Y, and Z. So here's an example. When I had to go to get my psych meds, my regular physician couldn't do it, so I had to actually go to the Eastern Visayas mental health place or whatever. Now, mind you, they had a major typhoon a couple of years ago, which kind of destroyed a lot of the structure. So everything's
Yeah,
done.
I remember that.
Everything's done outside now. There's really no sense of privacy here, which I didn't worry about because a lot of the people in the Visayas region didn't speak English anyway. So it was first come, first serve. Like I said, it's a 4-hour bus ride. We get there early, like get up at like 3:30 in the morning to get there so we can get there by like 7. They open at 8, that kind of thing. I think we got there at like 6:30 or something. Like we got there super early. So I'm thinking there were already like 2 people ahead of us already. So I'm like, okay, shouldn't take long. They'll see them, then they'll see me. We were there for about almost 3 hours. And people that came well after us were being seen and treated. Berna kept checking, like, are you going to call him? Like, we've been here. And they just kept saying the same thing. Well, he's next. He's next. And I wasn't next. So finally, when the doctor comes over, I asked a simple question. By what standard does this qualify as a mental health treatment facility? Simple question.
Yeah.
The doctor looks at me and says something to the effect of, we're a tertiary hospital and I'm thinking, what does that have to do with my question? Like, by what standard does this qualify as a mental health treatment facility? And I explained to him, like, I shouldn't have waited this long. Like, what's going on in there? And then two things, like I said, two things Filipinos cannot be without at any given time is Vicks VapoRub and excuses. They're always going to have one or the other or both. This doctor goes into this whole thing about how they're so overwhelmed and they see so many people and they don't get to eat breakfast and lunch. Now, mine's just 11 o'clock. It opened at 8. They didn't start seeing people till 9 o'clock. Why are you telling me at 11 o'clock you didn't get to eat breakfast or lunch? And I've been here since like 6:45. Like, the excuses didn't match the question. And then they start talking to Berna and Basayan and basically said to her, well, he's getting angry. You need to calm him down and you should be on our side because you're Filipino like us. That's basically what they said to her. Because it got to the point where I said, don't talk to her in Basayan. You talk to me in English. I'm the patient. Like, I was getting angry. And then when she said, and I'm like, listen, mistakes happen, but don't come out here and ignore what I'm saying. I have a problem because I waited for 3 hours. You're trying to act like, I don't have a right to be upset about that. If it's first come, first serve, I should have been the third person seen. And all I wanted was for them to acknowledge their mistake and apologize.
It doesn't happen that way in other countries, so.
No, it doesn't. Because when I asked for that, the doctor that I actually saw, because there's not a lot of brave, courageous people here in the Philippines. I mean, you got Manny Pacquiao and Jose Rizal, but he's dead. And then you got Leno Braca, and he's dead. So anyway, I say, listen, whoever screwed up and had me wait this long, I would like an apology. They got mad. Like, I didn't deserve an apology.
No, because you're a foreigner.
Bingo.
You're a foreigner.
I'm a human being first. My whole thing is you make a mistake, you own your mistake. The hardest part about adulthood is accountability.
Yeah, but it doesn't work that way. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen that way.
The head doctor comes out when she hears this because she's outraged that I would ask for an apology and starts yelling at Burnett and Basayan. Telling don't bring him back here anymore. He can go to St. Luke's. He can afford it, blah, 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 blah. So at first I'm not understanding what she's saying, and Burnet's not saying anything. But I can tell by the way the woman's body language was and the way Burnett was looking at, she's yelling at her. So I get up and walk over there. And as the doctor didn't see me at first walk over there. Then when she saw me approach, I was like, what are you saying? She literally ran away. And I said, that's what I thought, you coward. And then the people in the office started laughing because she literally turned tail and ran. And it's like, you got all that bold talk. Let's hear it. I'm right here. You talking about me? I'm right here. Like, and then it was like, I didn't have to go back there anymore because we got the prescription and that was it. And now we moved. I definitely don't have to go back there anymore. Like, I've seen that, and that was like in the Visayas region. So you have 3 major regions of the Philippines. You have the Luzon region, which is where Manila is, and the military American bases. And then you have the Visayas region, which is in the middle of the archipelago. And that's where the major city of Cebu. Oh, by the way, I hope this doesn't offend any Filipinos that may some point listen to this. I went to Cebu, like to move from Biliran province to Mindanao, which is the 3rd region. We had to take a ferry boat from Biliran province to the island of Cebu. And then from there, we took a cruise ship from Cebu to Mindanao. Now, there's an expat forum on Facebook that I get a lot of good information from. Sometimes you see kind of homesick guys that are missing, wherever country they're from, and then you see a bunch of guys that get mad because you have older men dating younger women, and maybe they married a woman their own age. Like the woman I'm talking to now is 28 years old. Ha, 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 ha.
Oh, Lord.
Listen
know.
to that laugh.
Somebody maybe a little bit older, for fuck's sake.
Why?
I don't know.
Why would I want old?
Okay, wait a minute. I'll take it back. I hope that it all works out for you. Yeah.
Well,
I hope
thanks,
it
Jazz.
works out for you. I do.
Well, okay. So you know what? Let me talk about. Well, let me just finish this real quick about the whole region thing in Cebu.
All right,
It
all
all,
right.
it all falls into
Okay.
play, but we're going to talk about dating in the Philippines in just 1 second.
All right, for fuck's sake, get on.
Somebody said if you go to Cebu trying to find a pretty woman, you might as well bring your own sand to the beach.
You might bring your own sandwich.
No, your own sand to the beach.
Oh, your own sandwich. I thought you said sandwich.
And I'll be honest, I didn't see a lot of pretty. When I was in Biliran province, I saw very pretty women. When I went to Tacloban, I saw pretty women. When I was in-
Something about
Hmm?
what does that say? Does it always have to be the looks? What about fuck? I don't even know. Shit's just been so. I mean, fuck. I haven't dated in fucking.
Let me ask you a question.
What, love?
When you first met your husband, did you find him attractive?
I did. I like to hear the bad boy.
Okay, but did you find him attractive?
Yes, I did. And
If he
other
looked
things.
like,
Other
if he
things.
looked
Other
like
things like the
Shrek,
junk in his
if
trunk.
he
And
looked
we-
like Shrek, would you have still been attracted to him, bad boy or not?
Say that again.
If
What?
he looked like Shrek,
Shrek.
the ogre.
The ogre.
Well, Randy's an island boy. I don't know.
See, yeah, that's the whole thing. You have to have some level of physical attraction.
Okay, I wasn't attracted to white boys. Is that all right? Is that better?
You just like dark meat.
I like dark. Not you fuck off, bye. Why shut up? Don't tell all my secrets. Let's sake, you're gonna run your mouth now. Don't tell them everything. I wasn't attracted to country boys. Leave it to beavers. I liked bad boys. And, I
Okay.
don't know. I was
How
attracted
bad
to
boy
certain kind
could
of
Randy
meat.
be if he's
I
a
call meat.
law-abiding citizen? He's not a bad boy. He's a law-abiding
was.
citizen. Oh, stop it.
He was too.
Oh,
He was
please.
too. Now
He
he's
was
not.
too. Yes, he was.
Okay, Violet, you know what this translates into? Randy was such a bad boy. If he got a parking ticket, he would not pay it.
No, probably not. Well, put it this way:
He's a beggar guy.
every weekend. They had parties all the time, and Randy used to have nunchucks around his neck. And when people were out of line at the parties at his house, he used to whack them across the head. The cops didn't do shit. Randy had a name in his hometown. Randy was a bad boy.
It sounded like he was a bouncer.
Well, no, well, he used to be a bad
He's handsome. I've seen a picture of him. He's real handsome.
Well, I don't doubt that, but I'm just saying, like, Jazz had an attraction to him. If he looked like Shrek, I don't think she would have cared if he was a bad boy or not.
Probably not. As long as he was dark meat.
So if he was a dark meat Shrek, he might have had a chance.
Yeah.
And I like tattoos and long hair.
So
Okay.
do I.
And he had tattoos, but he had standards. He had standards. Yes, yeah. He had
Well, I
to have
mean,
standards.
yeah, we should all have standards, but the women I saw in Cebu, not too okay. And I'll just leave it at that. Now, here's what I'll say. One of the advantages, honestly, about trying to date in the Philippines is that if English is not like commonly used language, they don't articulate their ulterior motives very well. So that's an advantage. You can find somebody that's full of crap a lot faster just based on the conversation. So
you couldn't do any like sign language, like,
sign language?
Yeah.
I don't even know American Sign Language. I wouldn't know Filipino Sign Language.
Well, I'm sure
Not-
they get the picture after a while.
Yeah, I taught Vi some dirty language today in Chamorro. You know, there's some dirty language
Why are you teaching her the bad words? Why don't you teach her like the good words?
because of bad words. You know, some bad.
Hey, I know. There's a word for Muzz. She's a schmuck.
That's the word. That's the word. That's the word.
Schmuck? You couldn't
Schmuck.
remember schmuck?
Schmuck is what? Remember,
His penis in Yiddish.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't know what it
Well,
was, but I knew what schmuck was like, not a nice thing to be called. I thought it meant like you're a goober or a rube or something.
Oh, well, remember the woman on Big Bang Theory? She wore glasses and she was a scientist. She's a Jewish.
Yeah. Yeah,
And so-
Mayim Bialik.
Yeah. And so she's on IG and she was teaching people Yiddish words. And the word schmuck came up and she's like, it actually means penis. I'm like,
Like,
but
but I'm saying fuck your langer, and she's saying that that's mocking my language, and she says that I've been saying that langer is penis. I'm
Yeah,
not
but
going around saying
we-
fuck your penis to everybody.
Whatever your faith is in the higher realm, you should pray to that entity for Muzz. And I'm being serious when I say that. I mean, she may not have been committed like Jesse is probably committed, but I do think there's some real mental illness there. Like
Mental illness. This.
it's
Chilimbo.
it's not normal. I mean, she's I don't even know how to.
and she's got new friends that don't know nothing.
Well, that's why, like Lindsay, she has to be a gypsy because she wears out her welcome, and then she has to, pack up and move, and then find another place, and she'll stay there for a little while, and then, you can't hide who you are, but for so long, and then when people see the real them, they have to leave again.
Yeah.
She found her home. She said that last night. She found her new faith, her new home. With Muzz. She said
Are
that.
we talking about Muzz or
Well, no,
Lindsay?
she said that last night on her live. She was on her panel with Muzz last night, and she found her new home. She found
Oh,
where she
wait.
belonged.
She's in a shelter?
What? No.
She's in a shelter?
She found her
Oh.
new home with Muzz on her
She
panel.
found her new home with Muzz.
Yeah.
You know what? You know what's strange? When Lindsay left my channel and was trashing me,
Yeah.
Muzz was trashing Lindsay.
No, I know.
Yeah, and she did it like 3 months ago.
Yeah.
And now they're buddies again?
But buddy's all right.
I don't want to even imagine that visual. Like,
Neither do I.
who's the top and who's the bottom? And then, like, what place would they do it in? Lindsay's smoke-filled studio or
I don't know.
Muzz's mold-infested loft? Like,
And those nails.
With puppy pads.
And those nails. Them brown nails. Don't forget the nails.
I still have those pictures she sent me because she got upset that I said she had the body of a 12-year-old boy. And she sends me all of these pictures. They're not nudes or anything. Trust me.
I know. I can't. I'm still trying to bleach my eyeballs.
And got accused of Violet is showing me pictures of her on Amnesty's channel, screaming at me, saying Violet's nakedness. So I don't even know. Remember that craziness?
Oh,
That
God, no,
craziness. That craziness.
that was. Oh, Amber sent me a heart. Yay, Amber! I made a comment on her latest live stream, and I used the code word that she would know it was me, and I got a heart.
So she may be coming. So
Oh no, that's great. Love the Amber. I used to miss her laugh too. Oh, but back to dating here. So here's the thing. there's really, I don't even, how can I put this? So 54 pesos is equal to $1.
Yeah.
And there was a guy that posted if 200 pesos was enough to take a girl out.
Damn, that's shite.
Well, it depends on the context. Out in that farmland area, that rural area, you could get like because they eat chicken feet here, like barbecued grilled chicken feet. You can get that for like 20 pesos, and then you could get like a cup of some fruit type juice for like 5 pesos. So I mean, technically you could, but when they see foreigner, they're thinking,
Cha-ching.
yeah, and not all. Well, so here's an example. There was a woman who messaged me. This was when I first got here, and she lives in the northernmost part of Mindanao. It's a good maybe 6-7 hours away, and the conversation was, we were talking. It was going pretty well. And then she said, when are you coming to visit? And I explained to her, I can't really travel that far because of my post-traumatic stress disorder. Like it took me a year to leave a place I couldn't stand just to get to Mindanao because emotionally, physically, mentally, I wasn't strong enough. And so she says, and I want to quote this correctly. She says,
laid.
No. Well, she probably did. I don't know. But she's telling me that I have to visit her first. So I look to compromise and I say, well, listen, let's meet halfway. If you come 3 hours south and I go 3 hours north, we could probably find some place in between where we could meet. And this is where like ego kicks in because it's like, no, if you want to meet me, then you're going to come here. So I blocked her. I'm like, you're not, no, you're like, I don't know you. Like you've done nothing to impress me that I'm going to risk my health or risk an anxiety attack. Cause it's not just me that has to go. Berna has to go too.
Right.
Which means I'm not just paying for me. I got to pay for my assistant to come with me. And I don't think she wants to travel for 6 or 7 hours. Now, the woman I'm dating now, I was fortunate because she lives like 3 hours away. That's really, so I could handle that travel time. Here's the issue. They're redoing all of the roads from the city I live in to the city she lives in. So you would have to go from Malaybalay, which is the capital city in Bukidnon, you'd have to go 2.5 hours to Cagayan de Oro. And then you'd have to go another 2 hours maybe to get to her town. You can't go straight from Malaybalay to her town because of the construction going on. But she's come here to visit me. See, you got to look for that effort kind of thing. Usually you can tell if it's worth continuing the conversation within the first few days, after a while when, they tell you how handsome you are and they talk about what a great guy you seem to be, then they ask for money. The bad ones, not all of them, but it's like when you reach the point where you say, hey, maybe we should meet in person, then they feel comfortable enough to ask you for money.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a woman ask me to give her money to pay her electric bill, and I'm thinking, how do you charge your phone?
Well, there's probably places where they could go and charge it.
Yeah, she went to her sister's house.
Right.
So why don't you just get money from your sister?
Yeah.
The other thing I found out, and Berna had to explain this to me, like if you give somebody like a pet name, like you say, hey, dear, how are you? In Philippine culture, that makes them think that you're already a boyfriend-girlfriend combo. And for me, it's like, no, no, I say dear, hey, sweetheart, how are you? That doesn't mean I'm in love with you. It's not gonna happen.
Yeah, yeah.
Slow it down, slow it down.
Now, what did you just say when you say dear? What?
If you say dear, like if I say, hello, Jazz, dear,
Mm-hmm.
in Filipino culture, I would only use that term of affection if we were like boyfriend, girlfriend.
Oh,
But if I don't know that and I say, hey, dear, how are you? They're thinking we're in love. And it's like, no, no. There was a woman I met, and I actually was very interested in her. And she kept telling me she had a lot of problems. And, you know, me, I'm thinking, you're probably exaggerating the problems you had. No, she wasn't kidding. So get this. She has 4 children. She had 3 from a previous relationship. And then she has a 2-month-old. Well, I guess he's like 4 months old now. And his father was married. Now, not only is her son's father married, but his wife, who's Filipina, is married to an American from New York. Like some real 90 Day soap opera type stuff.
wow.
Oh, that's too confusing for my brain.
Okay, so I'll try to make. No, it's complicated. I'll try to make it easier. So we'll say the woman I was interested in, her name is Roberta. So now Roberta has a son with James. James and Roberta were together for 2 years. Then 2 months after she got pregnant, he said he was going back to his wife because his kids said they missed him. So Roberta goes back home to her little tiny town and has the baby. Now, James is married to another Filipina, but his Filipina wife also has a husband that lives in America who's American. Did that help?
Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
but I'm like, oh God,
Yeah, see, you get what I'm saying. Like,
that is.
so
Excuse my language, but that is fucked up.
That's some serious hoboing.
well, see, here's a problem here. Divorce is illegal in the Philippines. It's a Catholic nation.
Right, I know.
So the issue becomes, because what I found out is, so for example, let's say let's say James's wife got mad that he was having an affair with Roberta. She could go to the police, and if she could prove that they were having an affair, Roberta and James could go to jail. You know, there's a lot of people that are married and haven't been with each other in decades and have gone off and had other families because they don't have divorce here, but they have annulment. An annulment can cost upwards of $5,000-$10,000.
You have to be literally rich to do that.
Yeah, only the rich can get an annulment. Now, I don't necessarily have a problem with the divorce thing. If that's how you feel, it's how you feel. The thing that I think needs to be done is what you need to educate people more on the responsibilities of marriage.
Right.
Like it is nothing. It's really easy to get married here. You know, hey, I like you, you like me. We have sex, you get pregnant. Well, now you got to get married, and then you get married. Like I know a person, and she's a very nice person, and she's not happy in her marriage. But you know, they also don't really practice birth control here. So
Yeah,
she was
because
with
Catholic nation.
yeah, the guy she was dating, you know, things happened and they got pregnant. And because, you know, you can't shame the family. I mean, it's like 19th century America here. You have to get married.
Yeah. Yeah.
But now you're in a marriage you don't want to be in. You're not going to be happy. And the kid grows up and sees this.
Uh-huh.
Hey, what do you think the kid's going to do? And the thing that Berna explained to me is that a lot of times, like let's say a woman went and wanted to get her husband in trouble for having an affair, they're kind of passive about that, saying like, well, that's just how men behave.
Yeah, men get away with a lot of stuff with that
But
kind
the
of shit.
woman would be treated like, the Taliban was after her if it was proven.
Mm-hmm.
There was Jane the Horse family, her brother, who's, I think he's gay, but not because he really wants to be. I just think he's too lazy to be anything else. And his boyfriend, his mother actually left the region because she was found out to having cheated on his father. And the shame of it was too much. Like, they have a term called marites, M-A-R-I-T-E-S. And
They should, yeah.
that's like a Karen on steroids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's terrible here. I haven't experienced it here in Bukidnon, but when I was in Biliran province, that was the reason I had to leave. Like, that was the biggest reason why I had to leave. Not the fact that food's cheaper here, internet's cheaper here, electric's cheaper here. Those are added bonuses, but the fact that the merit tests it was rampant. It was almost like hold on. It was almost like, I don't know, a pandemic. Like, the way that people acted, it was ridiculous how they were.
Yeah.
And for me, I couldn't go outside. I literally felt like I was trapped in my apartment. And the worst part about it was they were spreading rumors about Berna. Berna's a devout Catholic. I mean, she does the whole cross thing. If we drive past a church, like, I mean, when I say devout Catholic, she's a faithful devout Catholic, and
she does her rosary beads and
I mean, the whole nine, like, whatever
yeah,
rituals.
and I respect other people's religion.
Yeah, and these people on paper were Catholic, but it didn't stop them from spreading rumors because
They'll ruin it. That remember, Randy said that. Villages will do that. Their cultures will do it. They'll ruin a person's reputation. And it's like they'll shun them out. Either way.
Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
No, that was me. I hit the wrong button.
That's what they do. They'll do that. So it's just some culture.
Yeah, no touchy buttons.
I didn't do it. Grace
you
is
did.
touching buttons.
No, you did.
I did not.
Yes, you did.
I did not.
I saw
I
you.
did not.
I saw you do it.
Oh, bullshit.
Jazz, ask Randy about the Blue House in Guam. The Blue House.
Oh, wait a minute. I think he told me once about the blue. There's a blue. The blue house. I think he told me the blue. Is that supposed to be like a house?
It was a den of iniquity.
I'll have to remind her tomorrow because Randy's working. So
no problem. No, basically, it was a Chinese immigrant that came to Guam and then was recruiting other women from small islands in Micronesia to come there and become prostitutes.
I think he told me something. I think
you mean a geisha, like a geisha.
I think he told me something about.
No, that's Japanese. This woman was Chinese.
I think he told me about the blue
If
house.
you asked for a beer and you paid $30 for your beer, then your beer maid would take you in the back room and service you.
They searched or something like that. Yeah, I think he told me about the blue house. It was right off the shore.
Yeah, and Chinese they call them something else. They don't call them prostitutes. They call them something else.
Yeah, they call them something else. But yeah, it's a blue house. I think he actually showed me the blue house back then.
Yeah, that'd have been awesome. The woman, I think, when they finally caught her, because she got like federal sex trafficking, like, and then the policeman, I think one of the cops, because there were a number of police officers that like they were on her payroll, and I think she got at least 30 years. I think like it was a police lieutenant or something. I think he got like 30 years. A couple of people got 12 years. I think one got 15 years, and they would tell young girls, because these young girls, and they would tell them, you come over here, we'll pay for you to come over. We're going to train you on how to be like, housekeepers or secretaries or whatever.
Yeah.
And then when they come over here, they tell them, well, no, we're going to do this. And they say no. And then they would say, well, you owe us this money for you coming over here. And you can leave once you pay us the money back.
Yeah, yeah. Because I remember except when you mentioned the Blue House, and I remember Randy showing me a blue house. What the fuck?
It might have just been a random blue house.
It was a random, it was something. But I remember it was called. It was a hussy house, I think. So
Yeah, I'm going to Guam in 2025.
I remember you telling me that.
Mhm.
My son's buying a house or not a house, but a beach home, or not a beach home, but a condo right off. Well, he was going to. I'm not sure. He was going to go to Maui next year.
Yeah,
But
he could get a dirt cheap condo in Maui now.
Well, but it's only in that Lomang in Maui, so I'm not sure what part of Maui. He said he was going to look. See, that's where we would always go in Maui.
Yeah, but he should look where the scorched earth is. He'd get a good price.
I'm sure, but it's terrible. No.
You got to rebuild.
I know, but I don't know. But I know he said he wanted to go to Maui because that's where we'd always go on holiday.
Worst American fire in 100 years.
I know. That's how it just wiped it all out. Jesus Christ. But he wants to buy a condo on the beach.
Mhm.
So he's going to buy either in Maui or somewhere in Hawaii. I can't remember what part of Hawaii. And so me and Randy, we were going to go to Hawaii, and then it's like to skip away over to Guam.
Well, no, I'm gonna buy some property in Guam.
No.
So that way I can still vote for president.
Fuck for president, Jesus Christ. Looks like it's still in my marijuana. I don't give a shit.
I don't know. I mean, you know why I like Joe Biden?
Why?
Because he's not in the news.
Of course, because he's in the basement. As long as he can have his cookies and milk and ice
Okay,
cream, he's
guess
happy.
what? That's fine. I like a boring president.
Yeah, well, it's whoever's running the White House right now. It's worrisome. We don't know who's
Nobody's running the White House right
That's
now.
what I mean. Nobody's running it.
Yeah, no one's running it. So
Nobody's
It's being
running
run
it.
by committee. So you know what? Hey, it's great. As long as I keep getting my pension check, I got no worries. But when I go to Guam, see, then I don't have to worry about if people understand English, because they all understand English in Guam. Ha!
Jets don't want any Yanks there. Shit. That's what Randy said.
I'm not a Yank. I'm an Eagles fan. So
It's the Eagles fan. But the Guamanians don't really like Guam. They don't like Americans, but it's
you know what? Guess what? If it wasn't for America, they'd be a poor country.
I know.
Okay.
That's just island people, they're island people.
But don't get me wrong. They have a right to be upset. I mean, first the Spaniards come in and say, hey, you belong to us. And they're like, well, we don't really, we kind of like our own thing here. And then Spain's like, you got to do what we say. And then all of a sudden, the Americans beat the Spaniards. And then they come and say, okay, forget everything Spain told you. Now you're going to do it our way. So I get the hostility. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
But me being black, they should understand I get treated just as bad as you guys.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's just like in Ireland, they call us Shanks, And then it's funny because like when the COVID hit and when the travelers came in, it didn't matter how much money they tried to push on to the Irish, they were able to ban them and some get lost.
Really?
Yeah. Because they have
kidding.
to show you have to show proof of your vaccines, and if they didn't have it, they didn't matter. They wanted to give them money, and no, it was in the paper.
There's only one country that cured all of its COVID patients. Like they didn't have one COVID fatality. Only one country on the planet. Greenland.
Where's what?
Greenland.
Oh, Greenland.
hmm
Well,
Well, I mean, they only had 6 people that caught it. So, I mean, I guess it's easy to isolate you in Greenland.
right.
Yeah, especially during winter.
Yeah, no, yeah.
You had to be with your family, and you gotta really, find something to do.
People
Yeah.
in the Philippines still wear masks.
Yeah, I believe they still do. Yeah, yeah,
I think that's more of a cultural thing.
yeah.
But
Yeah, they wear
sometimes
the
it makes me paranoid. Like when we were on the bus, some people were wearing masks, and I was okay. Like I got my vaccinations, I got my boosters, and then Berna put on her mask, and I'm like, okay, is there something I need to know here? Like, but no, I haven't gotten really sick since I've been here. I've had food poisoning once.
Ew.
Well, actually, it was water poisoning because you can't drink the tap
can't-
water here.
Yeah, yeah.
And you did not know that? You're
No,
not
no, no,
supposed
no,
to
no, no,
drink
no,
the
no,
water.
no. That's not it. What
Okay.
happened was we didn't have our water dispenser because the movers took 2 weeks to get here.
Right.
We ran out of water and we were running out of money. Like, honestly, Berna, because what she said she did in Manila, they could boil the water. If they boiled the water, then it was okay to drink. So she boiled the water here, but it still ripped through me like pulled pork. So yeah, yeah. Luckily the bathroom was only like 5 steps away. So just keep making your trips and you're good to go.
Oh dear.
You might as well be.
like
You
salt?
might as well be. You might as well be like having your iPad in front of you and just sit there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. They call them comfort rooms here. and
I watched that video. I'm like, oh gosh, that just
you
sounds.
take the bathrooms are not really anything like the bathrooms here. You just want to take care of business and get out. Like, back home in America, you might, take a magazine or you take your phone and, you play, I don't know,
Or
Super
some of
Mario
us-
or something on your phone.
Or some of us will watch YouTube because she has to sit there for a while.
Shut
Yeah,
up.
see.
I can tell you shit anymore. I just take my phone on the low so I can read something.
Hey, whatever happened to what was her name? What was it? That Amber chick? Is she still around?
Yeah, she's still around.
Wait, she took sides against
More
me
places
too.
than nobody likes us anymore.
That Amber
Yeah, and I
chick.
know she didn't like Muzz, so.
Well, it's only a matter of time. Something's going to happen to offset the balance of power again, and then Muzz will be seen as a hero.
Adios,
So-
motherfucker.
He goes,
Okay. Anyway, guys, it's been really great having you on, but I actually have to get ready to go. Oh, wait, before I go,
What?
the 28-year-old that I was telling you about.
Uh-oh, here we go.
uh-oh.
One of the things that I do like
Makes him
about
tingle.
this culture is that younger women like older men because they want maturity.
Uh-oh.
And a lot of Filipinos around here are very immature emotionally. Not necessarily like, I don't know, a lot of Filipinos, period, that I've met they don't talk about their feelings here. So every time you tell them something, their response is, well, don't think about it. Like when I first got here and, I was meeting people and I was explaining I have post-traumatic stress disorder. Their solution is, well, don't think about it. And it's like, if it were that simple, it wouldn't be a disorder.
Right.
Nothing's that simple. And then they think the answer to everything is a good meal.
Oh, yep, Grace. Okay, Grace. All right.
Well, you need something to eat? And just don't think about it. Don't think about it. And it's like, I had to kind of be understanding, like, and PTSD is hard for like Americans to understand. If they've never been exposed to it.
He's
But
ignoring me. I'm shooting daggers at him and he's fucking ignoring me.
I'm not
So,
ignoring
so
you.
like Randy was my whole, Randy was my whole. Taught me everything besides you. You know, he doesn't even know what you've
Yeah,
taught me.
besides me.
Besides
said
you, last year, he
Rand.
doesn't know what you've taught me and Randy put together. So
Oh,
Bryce is going to be teaching these new younger generation. So he's going to be their hope. See, because
no,
he's an
I'm gonna,
older man. So he's
I'm
going
gonna,
to
I'm
teach
gonna
him.
teach. I'm gonna teach the woman that becomes my wife.
See, he's going to be teaching them. He's going to
It,
be their hope.
and then she can teach whoever else she wants to teach. Like the whole purpose of Berna before she became my personal assistant, I was gonna when I thought I was gonna marry Jane the whore, I was gonna show her how the school was to be run. And then after the school was built, just have her do it. She's already a certified teacher and she has a degree in English. So she was perfect. But when Jane the whore did what whores do,
Right.
you
Yeah.
gotta gotta alter and make changes and modifications. I mean, it all fell into place, but now like I don't know. I'm probably make a video about dating. It's been an experience that I won't soon forget. And there was also this thing where Filipinas that I was talking to were just wanted to be able to say that they talked to a foreigner. Like really strange, but just so they could say they knew a foreigner or they talked to a foreigner, like that's why they would talk to me. They didn't care about me personally. They just saw me as a foreigner.
A foreigner with money.
Some of them didn't even care about the money. It
Yeah.
was just like this whole fascination kind of thing. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I've dated every nationality there is except I've never dated an Australian, I guess, is the only one I haven't dated. But everything else I've dated. And initially I was interested to learn about their culture. I didn't see them as a novelty or as something you would visit in the zoo, but like, tell me about your land. Like, how do you do things there as opposed to how we do things here? Like, I was fascinated with that. I guess that's why I became a sociologist. But here, it's a really blunt interest. It lacks substance. It lacks authenticity. One girl lied because she couldn't speak English, but her sister could. So while we were texting when we first met, I didn't realize it was her sister doing all the texting. All she had to do was be honest and say, I don't speak English. Like, you got Google Translate. That's what I would use if I was talking to somebody who wasn't really good at English. Another thing, they teach English in the classes here.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of people don't speak English, even if they know it. They won't speak it in front of a native English speaker because they're afraid they might get the words wrong, and they're deathly afraid of being laughed at.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like you have no humility.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
It's just like I don't know how to speak Gaelic. I know the dirty words, of course. I always
of
forget.
course you do, because that's
Well,
what you
yeah,
focus on.
because you got Reg.
I got my sister speaks Gaelic. My mom speaks Gaelic. A lot of my family do. I don't speak it, but I know the dirty words.
When I try to speak Visayan or Tagalog, I may not hit the accent marks right, and then people will laugh when they hear it. But I don't care.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
If it sounds funny, it sounds funny. But here, like that humiliation, but it's because they've never embraced. They've never let their emotions develop.
Yeah.
They've never developed like a thick skin. Like Philippine humor, like they're on TV and their comedy show, awful.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Awful. And Filipinos will tell you that too. Anyway, I gotta get out of here, guys. But I'm working on a video. I hope to be done today. If not, I'll be working on it tomorrow. I'll probably do another live stream in the next day or two, and then maybe I'll premiere the video. And hopefully you guys will like it. And love you both very much. Amber, if you watch this live stream, welcome back. Glad you're back. Hope to talk to you again soon. Adam Harris, Wish you the absolute best. Stay strong, my friend. You got people praying for you. Pray for those wicked people too. I still have to pray for Jane the whore and her family. So anyway, hey, look, it is what it is, and you know what can I say?
But do you have to put the whore on there? For fuck's sake.
I'm a work in progress. I'm just saying. I forgave her, but I still have to pray, you know, because I still have a little hurt from that. I'm not gonna lie.
No, but
Well, yeah, and you're gonna have a lot of, hurt for a while.
Yeah, so you know, I'm just saying, you know, pray for her, pray for those people that wish you evil because they're the ones that are actually suffering.
which one?
You know, the ones that hate you.
Oh, I don't. I
No,
don't
but
hold
I'm
my
just
bitch
saying.
nothing.
Yeah,
I
you're,
really don't care if they hate me or not.
but that's just my point. Like, you should feel pity for them because you're sleeping at night while they're up hating you. They're setting their alarm clock so they can wake up early to hate you more.
Yeah.
Like that's a problem, and I feel bad for those people. I mean, I used to be like that like 25 years ago, but you know. Anyway, I'm getting off. Love you guys. Talk
Love
soon.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye.